Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update. Thursday, October 10th at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A G5 extreme geomagnetic storm is in effect. It should last for at least another day. It's going to wane in and out, but we have been at G5 now for several hours. This is care of the BZ now shifting south with plasma speeds well above 600 kilometers per second. Keep calm. It's boom time. The death toll rises, at least 16 people dead in Hurricane Milton's aftermath. And here we can see a cop giving someone a ticket in the floodwaters. Probably not. The death toll is spread across the state in multiple counties. St. Lucie County, 6 reported dead. Volusia County, 3 reported dead. Pinellas, 2. Hillsborough, 1. Citrus, 1. Polk, Sarasota, and Orange, all 1. And this is thanks to the 49 or more hurricanes which devastated the state even before landfall. Milton is leaving Florida with flooding and damage in its wake. Take a look at this sinkhole. Oh my goodness, that thing is...
John, good morning to you. Yeah, we just got here to Riverview, the southern part of Hillsborough County, and I'm going to show you something impressive and that's causing a lot of issues to this community that I'm in right now. So this is a drainage system right here, this water that's ponding off. They had so much wind, but most importantly, so much rainfall yesterday that it actually broke apart the sediment. And look at this, created this enormous sinkhole. Look at that. Wow, I can't even tell how deep that is. Just all the way across this road that I'm told by a deputy, a Hillsborough County deputy, is the only way into this community. So you can see folks just looking around in awe of this. They've been coming up, taking pictures. The deputy tells me that they're essentially stuck here. They're forced to go around the neighborhood into the backyards of these houses if they want to get around, because this is the only way in and out of this community. So clearly a bad situation for these people.
Yeah, amazing footage indeed. But we have even more crazy footage coming in from the devastation of Hurricane Milton. Take a look at some of these photos. So this is Englewood, Florida this morning as the sun came up. And you can see the amount of erosion and devastation in these manufactured homes. It's typically the manufactured home communities that get hit the worst with these Cat 3 storms. Some of the more well-made structures fare better than these manufactured home communities. And we can see here the devastation from historic Hurricane Milton. Also, Milton actually blew the ceiling off of Tropicana Field. The roof is completely destroyed in tatters, as the field itself. Take a look at that. That cleanup is going to take quite a while, and the rebuilding will take some time as well. This roof was built to withstand 130 mile per hour winds, but due to aging and maybe the manufacturer lying, perhaps, the 115 mile per hour sustained winds was enough to decimate the rooftop here. Here is more footage. This is Minnesota Key. Definitely don't want that audio on there. Here is Minnesota Key. And all of the barrier islands, as we suggested, as the storm was approaching, would be destroyed. And this is kind of what it looks like on Minnesota Key. Here is more footage from Minnesota Key. You can see some of the homes completely filled with sand. It's going to take a while to dig out, but it looks like structurally they're actually okay. A lot of erosion there. But hopefully all these people are safe. And this footage coming from Jordan Hall, at Jordan Hall WX. And this is all going to be drone footage. You could see the complete upper story of that house was removed. Let's go back there. Yeah. Actually looks like just his roof was ripped off. So this is repairable, in my opinion. Obviously will be considered a complete loss. Those hurricane windows did a wonderful job there. None of them are broken, but they're just all pushed off of the foundation there. And you can see the amazing amount of erosion under there. Just a devastating storm. And the reason it was so difficult to get into these barrier islands is because they were cut off for the most part until this morning. Here we can see some damage in downtown Sarasota from Hurricane Milton. A nearby building that had rocks on the ceiling, the rocks were blowing off and they damaged this commercial building quite substantially. It's going to take quite some time for these businesses to get back to work here. Just the fact of how unsafe it is right now with any wind and this type of broken glass. You can imagine the recovery effort will take quite some time. And just a final clip here. Do not do this, folks. When a construction worker is waving his hands and tells you not to move forward, do not drive forward. As you can see, that person, the next Darwin Award right there. Here is an amazing story. Take a look at this. This is just happening earlier today. The USCG Air Station Miami 65 helicopter rescued a man clinging to a cooler 30 miles off of Longboat Key today. The man was taken to Tampa General Hospital for medical care. Sector St. Pete lost communications with the man at 6:45 p.m. This is the most amazing rescue I have seen. 30 miles offshore, this man is in a cooler. Absolutely insane. And good for him. For the fight for life. Amazing rescues like this have been going on all day here. And now we've got a G5 geomagnetic storm to talk about. But first, let's take a look at post-tropical cyclone Milton and its current position with maximum sustained winds at 70 miles per hour. It's going to just make its way out there into the Atlantic. Maybe some slight effects to Bermuda beginning on Friday and ending on Saturday. That's good news there. No more tropical storms or hurricanes threatening the mainland. Just a few hours ago, 3.3 million without power, and there are 50,000 crews. Let's refresh this. That number has gone down significantly. 500,000 now have power, and the number is down to 2.76 million, thanks to those 50,000 line workers out and working in Florida. Now, there's a lot of fear porn on the internets, especially from the mainstream media, claiming that this is due to climate change and increased strength in storms. But the actual data of tropical storms and hurricanes shows no increase in strength, and in fact shows a peak around 1992 and the decrease in the amount of storms as well as the intensity for decades. And for those also fear-mongering on the interwebs that not a single storm ever in recorded history began in the west coast of the Gulf and made its way across Tampa, you're wrong. The Great Gale of 1848 was a hurricane that evolved in the Bay of Campeche and made the same exact track as Milton. Now, Milton is different because Milton was actually a tropical storm in the Pacific that made its way across Mexico to reform in the Gulf here and assume the similar track. All the links will be below. And if that doesn't add insult to injury, hundreds, if not 1,000 years ago, there were historically unprecedented Gulf of Mexico hurricanes when it was much colder on Earth. So apparently, the warmer the water is, the weaker the storms and the less frequent, and the colder the water is, the more storms and the more violent. The exact opposite of what the mainstream media is claiming. Milton becomes a post-tropical cyclone. Tropical storm conditions and storm surge are still occurring over portions of the southeast coast today. That was earlier. That's coming to an end. The risk of considerable urban flash will linger through this afternoon across east central Florida. Moderate to major river flooding is ongoing and forecast through central Florida. You can see frost and freeze warnings up for many regions in the northeast, so bring in those sensitive plants. A quick look at the 18Z GFS model. And we could see the remnants of Hurricane Milton there offshore, there 991 millibars, just going to move east and away. But I want to bring your attention to the snow up here in Canada. And if we play this through, there is going to be lots of the blue showing up on the screen as we move the GFS model through. It is October, entering mid-October, but it looks like we're going to have quite a bombastic storm on the East Coast here, beginning on the 13th, 14th, and 15th here of October. In eastern Canada, at the same time, a simultaneous storm moving in to the West Coast, an atmospheric river, in fact, rapidly moving down and depositing some snow along the entire Rocky Mountain front by mid-October. It's going to be an October to remember. Shut up, Al! Get your hole! Al Gore says it doesn't snow anymore, but I assure you, Al, the total snowfall says something completely different. Look at those totals, folks. Seismic update. Moderate uptick in quakes worldwide. Interesting rumbler over here in Algeria, 4.5. Most recent quake kicking off here in Koktovik, Alaska at 3.5. And quite a significant rumbler in Kansas at 3.5. Keeping it alive. Worldwide volcano news for October 10th, Stromboli volcano. We've got another phase of lava overflow showing up on the thermals there. Fuego to 15,000 feet. Constant and intense degassing from Canelon in the Philippines. I'm sure freaking out many. Sabancaya to 22,000 feet. Take a look at Spur Volcano in Alaska. Low-level seismic unrest and elevated inflation. So we could be seeing some activity there. Swanosima, 7,000-foot puff. Dukono on the list. Sungay to 19,000. Liwatobi to 10. Ibu to 8. Semaru, who knew? Now you do. On the list. Sabancaya to 21,000 feet. Nevada de Ruiz, 19,000-foot blast. 8,000-foot puff from Manam today. Popo, 20,000-foot puff. Sakurajima, who knew? Now you do. 5,000-foot blast. Fuego to 15. Dukono to 8, Santa Guito, 50,000-foot puff, Sabancaya to 21,000, Manam to 8, Swanosima to 6, Stromboli continues with another batch of lava flow starting to descend the Sierra del Fuego. 8,000-foot puff from Ibu, 19,000-foot blast from Popo, Semaru to 14, Sangay on the list, wrapping up the list, Dukono to 8, and Sabancaya, a 21,000-foot blast. Severe solar storm may stress power grids as U.S. deals with major hurricanes. It's happening now. A G5 geomagnetic storm, extreme, the highest level you can potentially even record. We are up near KP9, high KP8, and this is going to continue to reverberate through the night. Here is the live. We could see there is some decrease in plasma speed. Density has remained the same. We went up to G5 when the BZ here shifted completely south, and you can see we're reverberating there. Hopefully, for the next 3 to 6 hours, we should have amazing aurora viewing for the northern tier states. It's not going to get good for the low-latitude areas for another 3 to 6 hours. So after midnight, this baby is going to rotate around, bringing potentially aurora all the way down to Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis. Some areas reading KP9 early in the geomagnetic storm here at College Station, and others now up at the central latitudes, rising as we speak. So a long-lived geomagnetic storm is forecast. Here is the detailed forecast. Continue now for at least 9 more hours, and then drop down into low-level geomagnetic storm for the next 2 days. So Amazing numbers coming out. One of the largest proton events since the October superstorm of 2003. And we are approaching levels of the May Mother's Day superstorm as well. So should be amazing aurora pictures coming out tomorrow all over the United States and Canada. Well, and other regions, obviously. And guess what? Earth may be about to pass through the ion tail of a comet. The ion tail of C 2023A3 Chujislan Atlas could appear as a blue streak across the northern hemisphere sky during October, in a rare event thought to happen only every few decades. And this baby, well, it's making quite a spectacular display as it makes its way to close approach of the sun. And it is our opinion that it is triggering these X-flares. It's been our opinion for years that large comets that come into the inner solar system create mega superstorms from the sun, and may even be responsible for the Younger Dryas event, for some of the solar events as well as the cooling events. Isn't science fun? Now, we don't have to worry about this geomagnetic storm. The solar flares associated with it are 5-10 times weaker than anything necessary for any grid failure scenarios. We're just going to ride this out and enjoy the aurora. And maybe the plasma tail from Comet Atlas A3. Mysterious blobs in Earth's mantle are not what we thought, according to a study. Lava that erupts from hot spots around the world seems to come from a similar ancestral magma, according to new research. There might not be any big pieces of missing moons in the deep mantle. In fact, it might be quite homogeneous. Lava around the world may come from the same magma ancestor deep in Earth's middle layer, according to new research. The study suggests that the deep mantle, where magma arises, is more uniform than scientists thought. Instead of being a stew-like mix of rock compositions, the mantle might be more like a blended smoothie, well mixed and similar throughout. A never-before-seen head of a prehistoric car-sized millipede solves an evolutionary mystery. The fossil showed unique stalked eyes and a centipede-like characteristic. Now, can you imagine meeting this creature in this lifetime? This baby would be 6 feet long and be happy to devour you. The face of a car-sized millipede-like creature, the largest arthropod ever to live, has finally been revealed thanks to 2 well-preserved fossils, according to a new study. Here we can see the head in cross-section and the stalked eyes of Arthroplura. It may suggest that juveniles spent time in the water before becoming adults on land and eating you. Did you know there is an ancient underwater Stonehenge beneath Lake Michigan in the U.S.? Well, you do now. Take a look at these pillars. This is an image of the underwater Stonehenge beneath Lake Michigan. In a mysterious discovery, scientists found an enigmatic stone structure which appears similar to the world-famous Stonehenge sitting below Lake Michigan in the U.S. As per experts, this underwater Stonehenge is more than 5,000 years older in comparison to its British counterpart on the surface. A team of archaeologists headed by the professor of underwater archaeology at Northwestern Michigan College, Mark Hawley, had discovered the site in 2007, and the mystery deepens. A survey of the lakebed was conducted by Hawley and his colleagues when they discovered a series of large stones, which appeared to be arranged in a circular pattern near the coast of Traverse City, Michigan. Hawley said the discovery of the rocks at a depth of 40 feet was entirely unexpected. In the analysis, it was found that the stones, which weighed about 3,000 pounds each, appeared to have been arranged deliberately by humans. The stones are entirely made of granite and likely to be around 10,000 years old, what makes them one of the oldest formations ever discovered in the Americas. And I have bad news to report. A very good friend of mine and a friend of the channel, Giles Doolin from Australia, is no longer with us. The unfortunate circumstances surrounding his death will not be shared, but I am grateful to have spent the time with Giles that I did. And we love Giles very much. Please send a prayer up to Giles Doolin from Australia. GrandSolarMinimum.net. We love you, Giles. And one other note, if you would like to help support the channel, our affiliate, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, has opened, well, it's shifting its website to Bertie County Seeds, which is going to be its physical store location. All the seeds are still just $1 a pack, free shipping if you buy 25 packs. And if you add our coupon code ORP2024, you get an additional 10% off. They continue to stock more seeds and herbs as they make the transition to their first physical location ever. So please support their efforts. Come over here and get the best deal on open pollinated heirloom seeds in the entire world. Well, and support our channel as well. We love you. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share the video. We are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. In one place, watch all of our videos commercial free. You can always get the seeds. And please pray for our dear friend, Giles. We miss you, bro. And that's a boom.